There is this 6'10" athletic freak who shoots 45% from three and averaged 19 points and 7 rebounds this season. And he even recorded the second most efficient 19-point per game season of all time. And if you don't know who I'm talking about already, I'm talking about Michael Porter Jr. Yes, Michael Porter Jr. just had the second most efficient 19-point per game season in the history of the NBA. If you know anything about Michael Porter Jr., you know he was supposed to be the next best player in the NBA and was projected to go number one out of his class, but unfortunately, he suffered a back injury just 2 minutes into his freshman season, and he basically missed the entire thing. And when it comes to back injuries, they're hard to recover from just because when you have a back injury, it kind of affects you for the rest of your life. So NBA scouts really feared he would never reach his full potential after a surgery, and even with his injuries, he still declared for the NBA draft. And after he was fully recovered from his surgery, I guess he wasn't, because he had to cancel a workout in front of a lottery team because of back spasms. So to a lot of franchises, he seemed like just another talent who would be injury prone and never reach their full potential. But with everything I just said, he was still selected 14th overall by the Denver Nuggets, and by just watching his first 2 seasons, it has paid off. You can just tell this man has it. From a huge 6'10" frame to the near perfect jump shot, and in his second season he shot 45% from three. And when you're that big and that athletic, shooting that well this early on, and at just 23 years old, you would expect him to become one of the best scorers in the entire NBA. But if you watch him play, I would even say 85% of his points and scoring comes from spot up shooting, catch and shoot, coming off screens, and just backdoor cuts. Because Jokic runs the offense for them, so he comes off screens a lot, and he's very good at it. Because when you're that tall and your release is that quick, you can really shoot from anywhere and not really be contested. And I would say this is a good thing. Some people say it's a bad thing when you're scoring most of your points off ball. But when such a good player, what's a good scorer, can make such a big difference off ball is huge. I mean, 20 points per game, when you barely have the ball in your hands, can be the determining factor of whether you win or lose a game. So while that is a good thing that he could score off ball, I would like to see him score more ISO ball, more off the dribble basketball, just because you see other guys like Jason Tatum, Brandon Ingram, when they come into the league, that's what they're doing. They're attacking, learning how to score off the dribble. While for him, obviously his situation is different with injuries and all that. He's learning how to spot up and how to shoot well first. So he's developing a little bit different than anyone else like him. Because don't get me wrong, coming off screens is like a skill in itself. Like, for example, JJ Redick, the way he comes off screens and creates space is so impressive, and why he's been on every team. He hasn't had a off season. Like, people want him. When he's a free agent, people want to sign him. A great shooter comes off screens and hustles, because it's a lot of work coming off screens. You really do get tired and gassed just sprinting around the court trying to get open the entire time. And when you could get it and still score, it is very impressive. A skill that Steph Curry has actually mastered. If you watch Steph, that's why a lot of people call him a 2-guard, because he is so good at coming off screens and getting open off ball, because when he catches it, he has such a quick release, just lets it fly, and you guys know Steph is going in. So for MPJ to learn that first and make that a part of his game can be huge, because if he could do that and then develop an ISO game and off the dribble, pound it to the floor, put someone in the post game, then this man will literally be a top scorer in this league. Like, similar to Kevin Durant, he's just so big and his jump shot is so nice and so high and so quick that it's very hard to contest it at all. So his offense, I'm not even worried about. I see him developing as a great offensive player. But what worries me slightly is defense. And with such a big athletic frame, you expect him to be all over the place, running around, trying to, hustle on defense. Because I personally think that defense is like 70-80% effort. It's not really a skill in itself. Well, obviously it is a skill in itself. While elite defenders like Tony Allen, they just have a weird knack for defending. I'm just saying it's effort, putting in effort. Sometimes you see him not giving that 100%, but his defense has picked up a little bit from when he first started in the league. And the Nuggets, they're not really known for their great defense, so that could be an issue there too. But with Michael Porter Jr., I am so excited to see what he could be in the future. And it's so cool to see a young player that's great go to a team that's already kind of contending, a good team. Because a lot of times the best players go to bad teams, obviously, because of the picks. But since he fell to the Nuggets, seeing a good player play with a good team, it's interesting to see. They have high championship hopes in the next few years, especially with Jamal Murray looking good, Nikola Jokic looking amazing, winning MVP, and now Michael Porter Jr. extending and expanding his game, and they just got Aaron Gordon. Nuggets could be a scary team going the next few years. So I just want to give a nice little appreciation video to Michael Porter Jr. He's already a great player, but I see him taking the next step into becoming a star. But guys, that's it for today. Remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to leave a like. Leave a like, it helps out so much. But guys, that's it for me. I'm out. Peace.